Welcome in, everybody. Today we're going over 5 rookies that nobody's talking about. Let's get it. It seems like every single season, to include last season, you're finding wide receivers that are breaking out all over the place. Now I've got 5 wide receivers that I'm going to be talking about today that you really don't hear a lot about. They're not big names out there like the Chris Olaves or the Garrett Wilsons or the Drake Londons. All of those guys everybody knows about. These are the guys that could be considered as hidden gems that you may be able to get at the very end of your draft or even undrafted. So now let's go over the 5 guys that I believe could be hidden gems in your draft to help you dominate your league in 2022. The first wide receiver that we're going to talk about today is John Metchie. Metchie was drafted in the second round of the draft and has potential to make some noise this year due to not much competition at the position with the Texans. Metchie suffered an ACL tear last December, which is keeping him off many people's radar. We have to remember what type of receiver he was at Alabama. Metchie would consistently beat press coverage, which would allow him to take plenty of open catches. He has some good route running instincts, and he would be able to find the hole in the defense if given the opportunity. Metchie should be able to climb his way up to at least the number 2 role for this offense behind Brandon Cooks, and he could be a fantasy producer as early as this season straight out the gates. The next guy we're going to talk about is David Bell. David Bell was drafted in the 3rd round of this year's draft and is looking to take over that Jarvis Landry type of slot role for this team. He should be able to find his way to the second most targeted wide receiver on the team behind Amari Cooper. Donovan Peoples-Jones shouldn't be able to hinder Bell's fantasy value as long as he lives up to his true potential. I strongly believe Bell's fantasy value hangs in the balance on whether or not Deshaun Watson is actually suspended to begin the season. With Watson at the helm, the opportunity for Bell is huge. He should be a huge value for someone in this draft. More people need to know about David Bell. That's why I'm telling you about him. The next guy we're going over is somebody that I really like, and that's Justin Ross. Justin Ross was an undrafted wide receiver that was picked up by the Chiefs, and boy does he have some buzz surrounding him. Health issues kept Ross from playing in 2020, but he was able to get back and play for the Clemson Tigers in 2021, where he was able to produce some really good numbers. Concerns over his long-term health, however, apparently scared NFL teams away leading up into the draft. In a recent interview, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney revealed that only 4 NFL teams actually cleared Ross medically, but none of them were willing to use a draft pick on him. As a true freshman in 2018 at Clemson, Ross had 46 receptions for a whopping 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns, en route to winning a national title. Following spinal surgery in 2020, Ross returned to the field and had 46 receptions for 514 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ross will have a tougher road to making the Chiefs' 53-man roster now because he wasn't even drafted. But if he has the skills to make the team, the chances are he'll get this opportunity to make everyone regret not drafting him. The only caveat is that he needs to maintain his health. Next, we're going to talk about George Pickens. George Pickens was drafted in the 2nd round of this year's draft. In 2021, Pickens played in 4 games as he missed the first 10 games due to an ACL tear he suffered in spring practice. If Pickens hadn't been hurt, it was believed that he would have been a top wide receiver drafted in this draft alongside the likelihoods of London, Wilson, and Olave. George Pickens has talent, and now he says he's 100% and should come in as the number 3 wide receiver on the depth chart to begin the season. I would say that Pickens definitely has the talent to overtake Claypool this year for the number 2 spot. Keep an eye out in training camp for Pickens to see if you see him starting to heat up. You may want to swoop in and pick him up in the late rounds of your fantasy draft in 2022. Last, we're going to talk about Romeo Dubose. He was drafted in the 4th round of the draft. Dubose has excelled as a deep ball catcher, which could fit in nicely with the Packers. He comes to them after having consecutive 1,000-yard seasons with Nevada. Dubose is not new to the spotlight. He had over 200 yards receiving twice while at Nevada. He is someone that can take a step and make an immediate impact not only for the Packers, but for your fantasy team, at least for your bye weeks. Romeo Dubose is a name most haven't even heard of and is going undrafted in almost every league. If you want to feel sneaky about taking a stab on a deep threat rookie with Aaron Rodgers, then this is your guy. A possible diamond in the rough for 2022. As always, thank you for watching the video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content that we're bringing out. We're going to continue to be delivering top-notch content to you guys to better prepare you to not only dominate into your draft, but definitely dominate in style. Can't wait to see you on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.